Good morning, everyone. I hope we are having a wonderful Saturday so far. Oh, all right. Well, I guess we can start off with that Pippadot. My knee is the same condition as it was 2 weeks ago. I'm still waiting to get in to have surgery. Um, I have another appointment, and put that in quotes. It's a preliminary. They're hoping to get me in this coming Friday, but they had a cancellation that, well, it looks like the guy is going to cancel because he was supposed to be in on Thursday this past week because he had a temperature. He could not go underneath anesthesia. So they pushed it off for a week for him. He has to come back on Thursday next week. If he has a temperature still, and if he's sick, then they will. I get his spot on Friday, and I'll get in to have surgery on Friday. If he doesn't have a temperature and he's not sick, he will have his surgery spot on Friday, and then I'm still fucking waiting. Sorry for my language, but that's where my knee is at right now. It hurts like hell. Um, they, I've been to the ER four times, now. They've given me 2 cortisone shots in my knee. Doesn't really work all that great. It helps for a little bit, kind of takes the edge off of the pain, but not that much. But it does some good, but not a whole lot. Yeah, thank you, Interpeas, and good morning, Rykart and Blue Bell. Sorry that your job is interfering with your social life. Yeah, this is all I do is social media and YouTube now. This is my work. I feel like some weeks I don't ever leave here. It's like I close my eyes, I'm here. I open my eyes, I'm still here. Good morning, Connie Kelly. Sorry you have to go through all this prayers for you. Oh, thank you, Connie Kelly. I appreciate it. Scott B. Good morning, sir. Excuse me. All right. Well, Rebecca. Reba Crow. Well, we have a Rebecca Crow and a Reba. It's Crawford. Crawford. Sorry, there's a Rebecca Crawford. I just glanced at the name. How did you hurt your knee? Hope you get better, Reba. I've had knee problems. Well, pretty much for like the last, I'd say, 15 years or more. I've had my left knee has been completely surgically replaced, well, 3/4 replacement of my left knee. My right knee, it's gotten progressively worse over the years. And for about the last 2 years, my doctor has known, my orthopedic surgeon has known, we're going to have to go in and we're going to have to do something about your right knee. I've been wearing a brace on it pretty much, nonstop. I mean, the only time I don't wear it is when I go to sleep at night. But I can't do anything without it because my knee, the cartilage in the meniscus inside your actual knee, it actually protects your kneecap and everything else, keeps in a line. It's hyperflexed and has like a loop in it. So I'll be walking along, and when you're walking, it's straight, but mine has got a loop in it. So every once in a while, it'll catch between the kneecap and the actual upper leg bone. And when it does, my knee locks in a 45-degree angle, and down I go onto the ground. But it's just gotten progressively worse. But I was out golfing with my friend Tim, and I hit the golf ball on the tee box. I turned to pick up my tee and take a couple of steps away, and I felt like a pop in my knee, and down I went. And That was much more extensive pain than I felt in a long time. And it turns out that the MRI imaging um, that I had done in the ER, I tore the MCL in my knee. And so normally, if it was just an MCL sprain, it's 6 to 9 weeks of rest, elevation, recovery, and some light physical therapy. But with a torn MCL, they have to go in and they have to surgically repair it. It's only about that far into the total MCL muscle, so it's not even halfway. But I tore it, and my doctor, my orthopedic surgeon, told me after my initial, MRI that I probably had torn it, at some point, and it just slowly has been working its way open more and more, especially golfing, because the body puts so much torque through the hips and then the knees to swing the swing the club. And that's why I haven't really gone in and had the surgery done, is because, well, ladies and gentlemen, you may not know this, but I'm sure a lot of you do. I'm addicted to golfing. It's the only time that I get away from all of this. It's my peace, my tranquility. I get out on the golf course and I don't have to think about, um, the awful things that people do to each other. Because all day long I read and I study and these cases, and research these cases, about the worst parts of humanity and what people do to each other. And then I report to all of you out there who are watching it. But when I'm on the golf course, I don't think about it at all. I turn my phone off. I turn off everything so I'm not bothered. So we all need to find that one little thing in our lives, and I don't care if it's sitting and just listening to music, going for a walk. You have to find something where you can just let everything go and just take a deep breath and let it all go. Good morning, Gayla. Gayla. Oh, Anna P's made cookies. Ooh. We're going to talk about the laundries here in a minute when I do the news, right, Cart? I got a couple of things that I wanted to touch on with that, and a correction on the video that I made this past week on the Laundrie case. So let's get in. Good morning, K-Love. Dirty laundries. Got my coffee and my shot of espresso. Ooh. Good morning, faithful one. I hope you are having a happy Saturday. I hope I didn't miss anybody else. If I did, I will check back in a minute here. All right, I want to do the news updates on cases first that I have actually covered the last 30 days. So first one is the prosecuting attorney and for the state of Idaho, Mr. Woods, in the Chad Daybell case, has conceded that they need to move the case from where the case is, where they're at right now, to a larger jurisdiction in the state of Idaho. So Chad's case is going to get moved. They have said, look, we cannot offer you a fair trial in this jurisdiction because of the extensive news coverage, and the jury pool would be more likely tainted and have come up with an opinion one way or another of guilt or innocence in the case. So Mr. Woods is asking the court to place it for assignment. The most likely place will be the Boise, Idaho area, where they would have a larger selection of people to call for a jury. And this also would help with Mr. Pryor, incidentally, because I reported about almost a month ago in a video that Mr. Pryor has been looking and seeking a co-counsel to help him in the death penalty version, aspect of the case. He has never defended someone on a death penalty case. He's very qualified to do it, a lot more than Mr. Means, is. by a long shot. But Mr. Pryor is, if he brings on co-counsel, the attorneys that he has been looking for and has been talking to are in the Boise, Idaho area. So it would actually help Mr. Pryor in that aspect as well if the case is moved to Boise or or somewhere in that area. So the DA, Mr. Woods, has asked the court to place it for assignment. Now, it's up to the state to decide if it gets moved to Boise. It's not up to Mr. Woods or Mr. Pryor necessarily. They can put in their 2 cents into it, but it's up to the state to actually say, okay, it's going to go here versus here. So, all right, that's where the Chad Daybell case is. For Laundrie Vallow, she is still receiving restorative care in the state of Idaho. Now, quickly back to the Chad Daybell hearing that popped up. It was not set on the calendar. This conference was not set, to be actually brought up, nor is the continuance and behind closed door meeting that they're going to have about DNA testing, and that goes for Laundrie and for Chad as well. But back to Laundrie, kind of flip-flopping back and forth between the two of them here. But Laundrie is still receiving restorative care. They're at the state mental hospital. There is no timeline for when her restorative care will be finished, or there is no update that they are releasing to the public on how the restorative care is actually going about. But Mr. Woods and the judge have both been given an update from the actual state mental hospital, a preliminary update on how they believe the restorative care is working. They still are going to have a meeting behind closed doors. It will not be open to the public where they will be broadcasting it. If Laundrie Vallow will have to if they will seek an order to have her forcibly medicated, that will be done, in a closed conference meeting, courtroom. So we will not see that actual part of it. All right, now moving on to Brian Laundrie. Good morning, Adam. Adam Brock, thank you. And Peter, good morning. Hope everyone is having a great day. Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor is that somebody in the stream? Well, all right. So Brian Laundrie, a correction that I want to make sure that everybody understands. In a video that I made about a week ago, I had stated that the warrant that was issued for Brian Laundrie's arrest for the debit card fraud, illegal use of personal device is what it's actually called on the warrant. For accessing the debit and using the debit card to access the funds in the checking and savings account for Gabby. The account is only in her name. I want to make sure that's absolutely clear. His name is not on the account. Now, underneath federal law, because that was the other part of the mistake, is I had made it not clear that it wasn't a state issued warrant for his arrest. It is a federal warrant out of Wyoming, federal court, that was issued at 9:06 a.m. September 23rd. And I had the date right. I did not. I said 9 o'clock. I was off by 6 minutes. But it is a federal warrant. I wanted to make sure that everyone's clear on that. But the warrant in the account is for accessing and taking money out of an account that only had Gabby's name on it. If she actually approved him or gave him access to it, and we do not know, there could have been 2 debit cards issued on that account, one that he had and one that she had, but we don't know that for sure. And likewise, we do not know if funds from their TikTok, their endorsement deals, and the money that they earned from AdSense from YouTube, that money could have been deposited into that account. Now, this is a Capital One checking and savings account. That's the same account type that I have. That's where all of my money goes for AdSense that I earn, and from money that I get from other social media platforms. It goes into an account with Capital One because, well, they pay interest on it. So, and that's why probably a lot of people who are on social media do that. All right, but wanted to make that clarification there, but that I wasn't wrong, but I was, because I did not make it clear that it was a federal warrant and not a state issued warrant. Gabby Petito's body again was found September 19th. There in the greater Teton National Forest area, but the dates and times of when Brian communicated with the family is in question. Now, her body was found on the 19th. We know when Brian Laundrie returned back home to Florida. And there was initially, it was reported that the parents had gone camping on 2 separate occasions, the 1st through the 3rd and the 6th through the 8th. But they never were there the 1st through the 3rd. The mother, Cassandra, I think her name is. I'm not sure. I did not write it down here. But at the Fort de Soto, park, she canceled the reservation on the 30th for the 1st through the 3rd for that camping spot. But they did make it for the 6th through the 8th. That was for 3 people to be camping there: mom, dad, and Brian. But on the 1st, it was reported that Brian had stopped by his sister's home and had visited her. And then she made a statement to reporters that she had seen him on the 1st, but then Stephen Bertolino, the attorney, said no, that she misspoke. It was on the 6th that he spoke. So it's kind of like trying to figure out, well, did he stop by the house and she speak to him on the 1st? Is that part true? Or is the statement that the attorney is saying, no, he didn't see her on 2 different days. He only saw her on one day, and that was the 6th. So I'm kind of, trying to figure out what the real answer is there for that. But that's it. That's it for the news updates on cases that I've reported on the last month. All right, I'll go back up here to comments. Reba, I love your channel. Well, thank you, Reba. Will has a great channel, honest and sincere, so great. Well, thank you. Sorry to hear that. Well, I have surgery on my right knee to remove loose cartilage and bone. It comes from years of climbing ladders and heavy lifting at work. Oh, I'm sorry, Bluebell. I've had, like I said, I've had my left knee, 3/4 of it. I had a 3/4 replacement of it. My warranty expired, as my wife jokingly says, but it sucks. It's painful. I've had the right knee. I have had in the past. I had what they call it, orthoscopic surgery, where they go in to clean out the loose tissue like that. But it's way beyond that now. The laundries are disgusting. Not sure if I said hello, Colleen 41. Good morning. Scrolling down here. Cannabis seeds. Yeah, I was quite surprised by that too, right, Cart? That Mr. Woods conceded that there's no need to have a discussion about it. That we need to move this trial. Good morning, Short and Ice. How do you feel about everyone bashing the officers over the handling of the traffic stop? Correct me if I'm wrong. Did they not separate them and hooked right back up the following day? I don't know. I think that Adam, when it comes to the dealings with the police officers, with Gabby and with Brian, uh, they looked at it more as right or wrong. She to one officer, Gabby says that she hit him first. And then when the second officer arrived later on, she admitted that Brian hit her, but she backtracked again and she said that she hit him first. He said he never hit her, but he pushed her away, so it was hit. He said, she said, and neither one of the stories really, matched each other. Was there probable cause to make an arrest for either? Yes, there was more of a probable cause to make an arrest on Gabby than there was on Brian. Brian, supposedly had a mark or some kind of, we haven't seen the notes from the actual officer, but one of the officers or a statement later on said that at least one that I read, that he had a mark on the side of his face or neck, that may have been from her, that the officers clearly could see. Now, without doing any full examination, you can't just arrest people and take them in and say, okay, now figure it out. Some people do, some people don't. That's the independent discretion between the officers. What do I think about people bashing the officers? I think a lot of people are jumping to a lot of conclusions without all the evidence and information that they need. It's really easy to say, look, from this body cam footage, and you only watch that, and you only read one statement, that's what happened. And then you exclude the other, and where she said, that, he did hit her. But then she backtracked and said that she started it. And he says he never hit her. I don't know. I think it's wrong. I mean, I think the whole thing when it comes to Brian Laundrie and the Gabby Potato, that the whole thing, a lot of people are speculating in it, and they're throwing a lot of things out there and hoping that they stick, to the wall. And it's like closing your eyes and grabbing a handful of darts and throwing it and saying, "Please, something hit there, so I can say that I was right about that." Are the Laundries related to dictator Fidel Castro? Yes, Rykart, they're related to Fidel Castro, and they helped fix the election as well. Who'd have thunk all this would have happened? Easy to play Monday morning quarterback. It is. Bayside, good morning. Easily distracted. Good morning and welcome. I saw two immature children in a toxic relationship. I, you know, I I don't know enough about the dynamics of Brian and Gabby's relationship, and I'm sorry to say, but I never heard of either one of them until this case popped up. The most deplorable thing, besides the fact that Gabby was most likely murdered. Now, I'm going to say most likely because we do not have an actual definite conclusion to that she was murdered. All right, and no charges have actually been filed against Brian. Okay, just say that, or leave it at that. I never heard of either one of these two until this. But the most deplorable thing about this all of this, is how much attention the media and everybody else in the world, and I mean the world, has been paying for the death of one little white woman, has gathered so much attention around the world. But we have all these indigenous women who are missing or have been murdered, 710 in just the same area where Gabby was found. Why aren't they on the news? Why are we not putting them on the evening news and highlighting their stories? There's people of interest in some of those cases. Why aren't they at the front page news? Why is CNN not there 24 hours a day camped out across the street from of the victim of the last person who was found murdered there in the Teton National Forest. Why are people not lined up with lawn chairs selling bottles of water at $4 a pop to people who just want to sit there and scream at them the perpetrator's family on a megaphone? It's so disgusting that we pay so much attention to just one person, and there are all these other crimes that are happening and no one's paying any attention to. It's sad. But that's my view, my own personal view on it. I mean, it's sad that that Gabby's gone. One victim is one victim too many. But you look at the entire thing and you're like, why? What was so special about Gabby? She had social media. Is that why we paid so much attention to what Christopher Watts did? Because he killed someone who was on social media? Does that make me more important than my neighbor next door? If I'm murdered, are we going to then pay more attention to me over my neighbor if he's murdered? Is that where this world is coming to? You have a social media presence. So therefore, your life is more important than the next person. If that's the where this world is going, man, I don't want any fucking part of it. Yeah, that's true, Colleen. They do put out what they think will sell. And a large part of it is they, these they're definitely racism involved in what they report on. A poor little white woman is murdered. That's going to gather a lot more attention than a someone of color who maybe had the same position, the same status in life, same education as Gabby, was murdered. And there have been several others that who had equal the same amount of social media presence, or had the same education family structure as Gabby, who were murdered, who they barely report on. So there's definitely that in it, but yeah, they got to sell what advertisers want to put their money on. It turned into a real crazy show. Sorry, what the dog did was disgusting. Now you got the worst of the worst going there. Oh, it's gonna get a lot worse. Good morning, Sandy. Thank you for shining a light on the indigenous. So many young women and children have gone missing. Yes, it's deplorable, and we all should stand up and say, look, enough is enough. A victim is a victim. We need to pay attention to every one of them. We need to solve every one of the cases. You know, when someone of indigenous heritage, is murdered, you're lucky if you get local news coverage at all of the crime. Why is their life not as important as the next person? And sadly, that's the way it feels, and in the way it's portrayed, in the media. We spend so much time focusing on this and this one, the disparity, between the two of them in the coverage. It's shocking. Good morning, V. Stephanie, good morning. What did dog do? Besides trampling on a crime scene, possibly contaminating evidence from a crime scene? No. Um, Bringing a whole other spotlight of um, and rumors to a story that is already flooded full. Not much. Huge news. I didn't know, Caleb. Deuteron hit 100,000 yesterday. Oh, he hit 100,000 subscribers? Well, congratulations to Deuteron. I wasn't aware of that. I have been so busy this past, 2 weeks. I've been lucky to keep up on any of the channels that I subscribe to. But congratulations to Deuteron. If it had been a homeless person, would we have ever even known? Most likely not, Adam. Most likely not. That they're a whole nother section, and part of our society that nobody pays any attention to. We walk by as if we don't see them. We put on blinders and pretend they're not there. Until they start camping in front of your house or on the sidewalk, people are like, I don't see homeless people. There's not a homeless problem in my city. Look at the national, studies on homeless populations. That's the way people think about it. They're like, no, there's no problem with homeless populations. When the moratorium runs out, ladies and gentlemen, on evictions, not federal, but talking about within the actual certain jurisdictions around the United States, from courts within each state. When that runs out, we're looking at close to 4 million people right now who are on the rolls of possible evictions. 4 million. Where are you going to send 4 million people? In some states, you get evicted, it's almost impossible to get another place to live. Good morning, Sarah. How are you doing? And Francie, good morning. We, not government run, but not a business. Karen Gillette, good morning. Did you see where Don Wells wants Dog the Bounty Hunter to find Summer? No, but I'm not surprised by that. Don Wells needs to shut the fuck up. He's not doing any help with finding Summer. But sorry for my language, but I'm tired of playing nice with some of these people in their cases. I shake my head and I wonder why. It's been pointed out to him so many times that he needs to just stop talking to the media. But yet, he just keeps on doing it. Allie, where'd that go? It went by so fast. Sorry, I gotta scroll up. Allie Reeser. My best friend is housing worker in Canada and has had a third suicide in 3 months. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Well, Allie, welcome to this morning's stream. Caleb, it states the account has been terminated due to multiple or severe violations of YouTube policies prohibited content designed to harass, bully, or threaten. What is that for, Caleb? Oh man, I don't know about the rest of the United States, but where I am, the cost for a 1-bedroom apartment is just hit $1,100 a month for a 1-bedroom apartment. Last month, damage deposit, you're looking at close to almost $4,000 to get into an apartment in my area. You working at McDonald's for $15 an hour. How the hell are you going to pay for that? You working at Starbucks. How you going to pay that? I know people who are school teachers, where there are two or three of them that are living together in a one bedroom apartment. One sleeps on the couch, one has the bedroom. They rotate back and forth because that way they're equally sharing the apartment just so they can survive. They're elementary school teachers. They can't afford that. Homeless suicide rate is increasing. Uh, Sorry to hear that. People see winter coming and are giving up. I would hate to be homeless, especially during the winter time. I have an uncle that's homeless in Minneapolis, but he 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 he's been homeless for most of my life. I mean, I can only remember him having an actual home once or twice, an apartment. He's a severe alcoholic and drug addict. What they call it, wet brain. He's drank himself into where he's at. Wow, your little town is paying $700 weekly. Will, have you ever heard or looked into the highway of murders in the 80s? 11 women having a rough time in life found along highway in Dartmouth, Massachusetts. The DA was very grandiose and dropped the ball. Bayside, I have not. Well, not not the one in Massachusetts. I've read up on quite a bit on the what's called a Highway of Tears in Canada, but no, I have not read about that one. The Highway Murders. I'm going to write it down though. It's going to be some time before I get into it, at least a month, because I'm looking at I've got 9 days where I don't have things scheduled already made for this month of October. I have the 8th, 13th, 15th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 27th, 28th, and 29th. Those are the only days in this entire month that I don't have content already uploaded on YouTube, and it's set to launch, on certain days and times. But the rest of the month is, there's only 9 days out of 30 days that I don't have content already uploaded. Highway murder, Dartmouth, PA. My brother has wet brain along with a bad liver. I'm sorry, easily distracted. Yeah, my uncle. It took it when my other uncle was murdered. Well, we think he was murdered. The state police in state of Minnesota called it a tragic accident, but we think he was murdered. But when he died about a year ago, we had to find him. My other uncle, his brother. That took forever. So you can't just show up at a homeless shelter and find people that easily. And not a lot of them go to a homeless shelter or soup kitchens. They prefer to stay away from people. And my uncle is like that. As long as he has money, he's out drinking it somewhere, and nobody knows where he's staying. But we eventually did finding him, getting him to the funeral. But he doesn't remember any of it. Doesn't remember who died or why he was even there. But I remember, the morning of the funeral, we had to go buy him a pint just to get him through the funeral services because he was starting to go into like DTs. It's pretty freaking bad. Gabby's death is being used to distract the inflation broader Afghanistan, and they think we are stupid. Asians have flooded the border states. Who's paying for all this? Oh, that's true, Sandy. Yeah, but I don't know if it's necessarily being, if it's distracting us from other issues. There's a lot of other things that the media pushes out there that are they're using to distract us from what other things that are going on. But I'm sure Gabby, and her death is definitely taking up a large part of the spotlight, in the news media. Good morning, Robin. Adam says DTs are scary as shit. Yeah. Francie, did I make breakfast? I have not. There isn't anybody awake in my house yet. They didn't. Most of my family, besides my son, I got my son to sleep last night at about, I want to say 8:30. I finally got him to sleep, but most of my family was out pretty late last night. My my wife, my daughter, my mother-in-law, they didn't get to bed until much later. So they're all sleeping. Landlords are trying to recoup their losses, revenues, and by raising rents. Why should the people who kept up their payments have to pay for the ones that didn't? That's true. Well, okay. So I was looking in. I'm going to kind of go on a little bit of a rant here, just a little one. I was looking into the $1 trillion plus stimulus package that was passed, where they and a large chunk, we're talking billions of dollars, were set aside to repay to stimulus packages to go out to different states to help landlords recoup the losses from those who are unemployed who are facing evictions. Of that entire, I think it's like 12 billion, 13 billion dollars that was set aside to help that, in that capacity. Only about 25% of it has actually left the federal government to the states, and then the states have started to distribute it out. A lot of states who initially got the first round of funding used that money on other things to give bonuses to city employees, to themselves, to line the pockets of and where there wasn't tax dollars coming in. So they're like, well, we'll just put this into the bank account where those tax dollars would have gone, instead of really putting the money where it really could have been used. Should the landlords be raising the rents on others to recoup their losses? Yeah, but there's also packages out there, stimulus packages, where they can get that money back, so they'll be made whole, where they don't have to raise the rent. If they raise the rent on other people or who have been paying all along, yeah, it's not fair. But they don't have to do that. They can apply for the stimulus, money to cover the rent that they didn't get, but if their state has actually requested the money. And a lot of states haven't done it. You guys are getting a taste of the California CA experience from Harper to Trudeau. Was Harper and excuse my ignorance here, but was he like the president or whatever it is in Canada before Trudeau? Prime Minister? Is it the Prime Minister? Isn't it called embezzlement? Yeah, some. But it's more of a misappropriation than or taking the money and using it for things that that wasn't the spirit of what the money was for. My landlord isn't hurting. He's just recently raised our rents, but he's been doing all right. I'm sorry. Yesterday was particularly demoralizing, but yes, I have a roof over my head for another 3 weeks. Well, I'm happy to hear that, Robin. I pray that everything works out for you. Conservative prime minister. So yes, okay. I know who Trudeau is. I see the memes on, at least where I am, all the times, of about socialism and Trudeau. He's a fairly attractive looking man. We'll give him that. It is at fault they choose what they put out. But it stinks. Everyone needs that attention that is missing. Gabby's dad said this as well. Yes, he did. I saw that from Gabby's dad. I definitely saw that press release from him. Pulaski Days here in Grand Rapids. This weekend, Polish halls all have homemade Polish food and live polka music. Well, that's cool. Are you going to something like that, Francie? You gonna go to one of the polka fests? And thank you for the super chat, armchair. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. It just now popped up on my end here on this side because I'm not streaming on YouTube. I'm on StreamYard, streaming to YouTube. It doesn't show at the exact same time when you do super chat, but it eventually pops up on my thing here. Sorry about that, but I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much. This is no does good bad tenants free ride rather than helping struggling good tenants. I feel bad for those tenants. Yeah. Good morning, Mike. Kevin. Good morning, Kevin. Morning, rising hope. All getting better. The no evict has been over a while, at least here. Yeah, see, that's a lot. A lot of people have a Tam Lynn. Good morning. I'm doing is the best I can, Tam Lynn. A lot of people, have a misunderstanding when it came to the eviction moratorium that was passed federally. That only protected places that had federally backed FHA loans and in certain places. It did not cover individual apartment complexes, homes, and stuff like that where um, they couldn't evict you anyways. I want so bad for the world to start being normal. Will we get there, guys? I don't know. Pippadot. I don't know. Uh, Allie, I have a video that on Sarah Everland that is set to launch next Thursday. So yes, to answer your question, Allie, I have read up on that extensively and the officer who killed her. I have definitely, but yes, yeah, it is set for Thursday of next week, the 7th. Robin, I'm sorry about that. Does the U.S. have a law like Clare's Law? Clare's Law is a domestic violence disclosure scheme in the UK. Claire Wood was murdered by her ex-boyfriend. Please Google. Do we have a Clare's Law? There may be individual ones in each state, but I'm not familiar with one that is a federal. That would be a disclosure, as in if they tell you if somebody has been arrested for or convicted of domestic violence. No, on that aspect. I don't know if we'll ever get back to normal. Pippadot. I don't know. I mean, I want my life back. I'm tired of of all this. You know, and I see people every single day, every day, who just refuse. They refuse to do anything to protect even themselves. I'm not. If you don't want to get the shot, don't get the shot. But at least wear a fucking mask. Again, sorry for my language, but wear a mask. Protect yourself. Oh, you don't believe it's real? Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody ought to take them to the morgue and show them all the dead bodies. We lost 118 people in my area in the last 30 days. 118 people. That's a lot. Did you hear about the MMIW rally in New Mexico yesterday from murdered, missing Indigenous women? Sarah, no, I did not. I have the website bookmarked on my desktop, but I don't up at the top here on the navigation bar, it doesn't have any notification. Oh, wait. Here, I got 4 notifications here. Oops. Well, I clicked on notifications and it sent me to my notifications and closed this window. It's supposed to be a pop-up. Now it shows me the notifications across the top in the navigation bar. All right, I'm not clicking on anything else. um, no, there's no notification from MMIW about anything that happened. But I'm not doubting that it didn't. It's not your fault, Sarah. I clicked on the notifications tab. Won't do that again. I thought it was going to be a pop up, on a secondary, like, boop, here's your notifications. Nope. You close that out. Oh, we in the UK can search through the police to find out about a person's abusive past. Well, that's a good law, armchair. But I don't know of anything like that at all. Here in the United States, if you want to do a background check or criminal records check, there are quite a few companies that will sell you the information. But a lot of people don't realize that there are ways to go around that. If you know where the person lives, if you know their full name, and you know their date of birth, you can search county records for that person as long as they're using the real name. Now, there are people out there who have fake names. People like they believe his name is Bob Smith, but his actual name is, Jim Crawford or something like that. But he goes by Bob Smith on social media and emails and everything else. And at work, everybody thinks he's Bob Smith. But yeah, there is no national database where here in America where you can do that. A cat. Good morning. Well, I had a lot of family and friends died from COVID. My son has a friend who now has to relearn how to walk at age 38. Wow. I'm really sorry about that, A cat. We are upset here, right, chat? I'll get better. Well, I hope so, Pepidot. Well, Armchair Detective MI5. When it comes to laws like that in America, I mean, it took forever just to get the Amber Alert system. It's it's called it's self-titled after a child who went missing, Amber. But the Amber Alert system here in America for a missing child, it took a long time before we ever got around to implementing that. And then when the Amber Alert system came out, there were certain states in the United States that refused to take part in the Amber Alert system when it first came out. Just like now, we have the Amber Alert system and we have the Silver Alert system for missing and in danger senior citizens. Try to find, the lower 50 states in the United States. I think half of them use the actual Silver Alert system, and it's supposed to be on billboards, electronic boards on all freeways, just like the Amber Alert system. But most don't. Most don't. But a database like that would be awesome if we had something like that. That would, you could check to on those who have been convicted, of domestic violence, Clare's law. I'd love to see something like that. I've got an adult daughter who's out there, in the dating pool again. Her and her long-term boyfriend, thank God, sorry, but are no longer together. Good morning, Leave It a Beaver, and thank you again for making that video about Xavier. I really appreciate that. I hope you didn't mind, me posting that on my community. I was asked about, if I knew any updates on the case, and I've just been so busy. And then I saw that you made that, and the compassion and and that you have for for the case, definitely came through in the video. And I was like, it almost brought me to tears watching you have to talk about it. But thank you again. You need to know who your children are dating. Well, my daughter needs to know who the hell she's dating. Our sheriff's department automatically calls you with Amber and Silver alerts. Well, that's good, Gala. We so we have T-Mobile for our cellular coverage, and you can with T-Mobile you can opt out of ever getting Amber alerts on your cell phone, and there is no Silver alert that actually comes across in our state. The only way you find out about a Silver alert is it comes across as a ticket, thing on the bottom of your TV screen. Well, it's been a rough. I've been talking to the family since the first week. I sit on information all afternoon and never said nothing. It was gross for it to be announced as the family was to find out. Oh, I didn't know that, Leave It to Beaver. I didn't know they found out that way. I'm in the same situation with my son's girlfriend. Lucky to get 5 minutes to talk to him when I see him. I pray every day they break up. Well, thank you for the super sticker. Purchase armchair. I appreciate it. Yeah, pretty sure we do not get Silver alerts in our state. Yeah, they're trying to move it across, the entire United States, but some states, especially the ones that push back on wanting to do Amber alerts, but now, they're the same ones that don't want to, bother people with Silver alerts. Kevin Brand, good morning from South Carolina. Carol Johns, good morning. If I did not say hello earlier, how many vaccines do you have there? We have 2, 3 weeks apart, but we are not completely safe until 30 days after the second one. Well, that's the way it is here, Carol. But we have the your 2 full shots, and then you have the booster, which is half of the doses as a booster. They're recommending it. I don't know if I'll get the booster, but it's the same way. 30 days after the second shot, you're not fully vaccinated until that 30 days. And that's for all three of them: the Moderna, the Johnson and Johnson, and the Pfizer. You're not fully vaccinated until then. Hazel Turner, good morning, sweetheart. How are you doing this morning? Welcome. Glad you could stop in this morning. Here in Cali, everybody bothers everybody. Ooh, it is 16:59 in England. For those who don't know, military time, take 12, subtract it from 16, and then that's how many, and then each one is an hour afterwards. Will, do you qualify for the booster? I do, Francie. The booster shots they're giving out here now in my state. Anybody who's been fully vaccinated, you bring in your passport or whatever you want to call it, your ID. Your shot record that shows that you got the boost. The first two, that you can get the booster. It's basically walk in and get it. I know that Rite Aid pharmacies, Walgreens, Target, CVS pharmacies are doing it. Walmart, just about all of them are doing it now. There's almost no wait at all. You show that your shot record, and they want to stick. If you got the Madura, they want to give you the Madura booster. If you got the Johnson and Johnson, they want to give you the Johnson and Johnson's booster. That's the only reason why they want to see it. That and to make sure that you actually got the first two, and then they put a little sticker on there and sign it, and away you go. Okay, thanks. Where I live, no one has the COVID has had COVID yet. Population 35,000. Well, that's good. I mean, I'd still get the shots though if you can. Why not get the booster? I I don't know. And, I was thinking about it. They say that the booster is, if getting the booster would help against the Delta variant, but at the same time, my wife and daughter, mother-in-law, and everybody else that who's in the medical field who's gotten it, none of them have gotten the booster. So I'm like, until they decide that they're going to get the booster, I'm just going to hold off on it. I don't have anything against it. I just don't see the need to rush out and get it. If everybody else who's in the front lines are not getting it. Oktoberfest. All polka festivals are great. We have Oktoberfest here. Our local Catholic church puts on an Oktoberfest. They have like a beer and wine garden. They have like carnival games and stuff like that for people to play. A lot of really great food, and it's huge. But this year, because of COVID, they're doing it's just a drive-through only, so you can go get to help support the Catholic Church. Anyways, yeah, it's a very very large Catholic church, but you can go through and you get like the beer stein, the collectible beer stein, or you can buy like the T-shirt, make a donation. You can still get the food, but you can't get the beer and wine to go. But I mean, at least not through them. But you can everywhere else. Here, where I live, you can pull up in your car to a bar, call the bar, and they'll come out and bring you a drink, and then you can drive off. But they have a lid on it. You can order a beer to go, and they bring it out, and they put saran wrap, a rubber band on it, and then they hand you a straw and the beer. No joke. Or a margarita or a Mai Tai or whatever you want. Will, you should decorate your office for Halloween. Well, I already have a tombstone. Hazel Turner, you're a foodie? Love food? I love food too. I like food from different parts of the world. Um, I had pad thai last night. Couldn't explain it to you. It's noodles with a peanut sauce and vegetables and chicken and beef in it. The one I had last night. Will, did you ever receive a letter from Mark Rober's son? Yeah, it's right up here. Well, all right. Interpiece. I'm going to tilt the camera up here for a second. It's right there. That one that's all blue. Sorry about that, everybody. But yeah, I most certainly did. I can flip it over, and on one side of it, he wrote a note, thanking me, for my donations. It's really cool. Australia is a large place. Will, you've got a Christmas tree? This? No, that's just a tree, like a fake. I guess you could decorate it like a Christmas tree. I've had it for a while. I used to have two of them, but my stupid cat knocked it over, the other one, and broke the pot. And I think I ended up throwing that one away. Jeannie Purnell Cox, good morning. Well, Robin, you're so sweet, never deserving any of this. I live it all. I swear I understand. So if you do need anything, please reach out. Good morning, Broken Justice. I hope you had a wonderful week. I hope you are doing well. I keep on checking your channel to see if you're going to put up any new content. You don't have to. That's all right, but put little pumpkins and skulls on your tree. I have so some of those little lights that have little pumpkins on them. They're battery operated though, like string lights. Francie, my knee is the same. It ain't getting any better on its own. This Friday I have I don't know what you call it, a preliminary, I guess. I don't know what you. There's a gentleman who came in last Thursday to the surgery center to have surgery. He was running a temperature, so they would not put him underneath anesthesia for for his own safety. They pushed his appointment off to next Friday, and they said, okay, next Thursday you have to come in. If you have a temperature, then we're canceling your appointment until your temperature is down. If they cancel his appointment Friday, I get to get in and have surgery on my knee. But don't know if that's going to happen. I'm hoping it will because, well, I'm tired of walking around, and being in pain. Have you guys ever heard of the Coppertone products? Yeah. Have a cancer-causing ingredient in them. Been around for years. Well, the Coppertone baby. That's the Coppertone baby was where the little puppy was biting the the diaper or the pull-up or underwear of the little girl. That's the Coppertone baby. Yeah, have a good day, Kevin. I will, Kevin. You take care and have a great week ahead. Oh, so do I, Hazel. So do I. I hope Stephen Avery, justice will be done in his case. Francie, do I like buffet restaurants? Yes, some. I used to work for a buffet restaurant chain. It's called King's Table Country Harvest Buffet Restaurants. I worked in menu development. Well, first I started off as a the restaurant manager, and then I took a position with the corporation in menu development, and I did that for a couple of years just before I left to go to the United States Marine Corps. It was a fun job. Didn't like working in a cubicle most of my time, but are buffets still around? Oh yeah. Here we have where I live, we have a Granny's buffet. It's still around. Um, and then we have another one. It's chef's table or something like that. It's chef something or you just see the word chef in big giant letters. I don't think they're a national chain though, but they're still around. They're just every other table is closed, so they're not instead of like packing it with 300 people in it. They're only doing like 50% occupancy. So here's a table you can sit at, and the next table's closed, and the next table's open, and so on throughout the restaurant. But they're open. At least they are in my area. There's 84 scamming days before Christmas for AD to stop the scammers. Is there really 84 days until Christmas? My wife never stops shopping for Christmas. That she starts buying things for Christmas the day after Christmas. She's a big fan of those after Christmas sales. And she can go buy like, strings of lights, or bulbs and wrapping paper and everything else the day after Christmas for, 75, 80% off. She'll hit those sales and clean up. That's the day after Christmas. And then throughout the year, she's always looking, and she's always got things that she's, planning to buy people. Yeah, I wish we had a Golden Corral around here. We don't have them around here though, Francie. I think the nearest Golden Corral would be in Boise, Idaho. I think it's the closest one to me. This will be my third Christmas out of my house due to the house fire. Thank you, adjuster. Oh, I'm sorry, Colleen. Seem warmer. But my wife Gayla likes to decorate for each season holiday. She doesn't decorate the entire house. Mainly the living room, and sitting area. We have like our house is kind of weird. We have two technical like living rooms, and then we have a large area that's in between the two of them, and before the dining room. So it's kind of hard to explain. Think of it like a giant backwards L, and the one living room being on one end of the L and one being on the other end, and in between there a large seating area that we use as our dining room, but it's not actually the dining room; it's just in between them. And our actual dining room we use as an office. You don't like Golden Corral? I'm taking it by you saying you guys aren't missing much without a Golden Corral. Yeah. So I'll explain this to you. Why we have two living rooms and a formal dining room. So the house that we own used to be a duplex. It used to be a two family unit. Each side of the house was a 3 bedroom, 1 bath house. So it's a duplex, one house, all right, but split down the middle. So this side was one family unit, and this side was one family unit. And before we bought the house, it was converted to one house. So there are 7 bedrooms total in the house. And we have each end of the house, we have it's a giant walk-in closet. So, it's a bedroom, but it's a giant walk-in closet because they put all these shelves in, like you would have, like, those closet organizers in them. So that's the entire room, and my wife uses one as a craft room. That's where craft projects go to die. And the other one we use for storage for like blankets and pillows and sheets and stuff like that. But downstairs, it's an open floor concept. So the kitchen is in the middle where where the two sections used to be divided. They built the kitchen right in the middle. So there's a living room on this end, a living room on this end. The dining room is off the kitchen here, but there's this long area that's probably, I don't know, couple hundred square feet of space that it goes in between, where it's hardwood flooring, and it's probably 12 feet wide by a couple hundred feet long, and that's in between the two. So it goes on this side of the kitchen's here, and there's like a what do they call it, a galley thing, or where you pass through, where you can put food and stuff through to out into that area. So we just use that as our dining room, and the actual dining room that's over here, we use as an office, and it's got my wife's like roll top desk in it, and a table, a dry pantry storage area. But and that's where her office is, and then she's got her gaming desk and stuff like that. It is, Francie, but it's a lot more space than we need. I mean, there's only 3 of us, who are, well, my daughter's here now, back in our house living, but that's because of the COVID and everything else. But so technically, there's only 4 of us. It's a hell of a lot more space than we need, and it's not cheap to heat and cool, not at all. Um, yeah, but I never saw the house before. My wife saw it. She fell in love with it, and she wanted this house. So I said, okay, let's buy it. And then she went back and did a walkthrough and took a video of it. She showed me the entire property, but she forgot to show me the 2 garages. So we bought it, we closed on it, they gave us the key. We came over here to move the first truckload of things in, and to get our dogs all set up, with the dog houses and their dishes and everything. And I'm like, hey, you forgot to tell me there are 2 garages, because each side used to be a duplex. So there's a garage for this side and a garage for this side. Well, the one garage we actually still use. This garage, which is my studio, I converted into a studio. This is 2 cars deep, in garage, by 2 cars wide. So it's a 2-car garage, technically, because it's got 2 doors. Well, it did, but it's only got one garage door now. But I've made this all into the studio, and it's got a bathroom on the back of it, and I've got a little kitchen area set up just off of the shop. So you can't see it, but on the other side of this monitor, there's a wall that we actually built, and because we live in an HOA, we're not allowed to convert living space or actual the garages into what we did. So from the outside of the garage, it still looks like it has 2 garage doors, but one of them is completely walled off on the inside. Me and my friend built all these walls in his shop at his shop, put them in the back, laid them down in the back of his pickup truck, drove them over here, and then brought them in and assembled it all with lag bolts and everything else. So it's all structurally sound, and insulated. And I had another friend come in and rewire everything. So for electrical and stuff like that, they did it for free. But it's kind of like a tit and tat. I do things for them; they do things for me. It's way guys do things for each other. I'm sure women do the same thing. But I'm just saying, at least me and my male friends, we do the same. Like my buddy Jason needed to move to halfway across the state. I loaded up my trailer full of his furniture and his belongings and drove him over there and back. And I never asked for gas or for anything else. I got a pizza out of it. Into a studio. He turns 18 in February. Yeah, but you're gonna miss him. Leave it to Beaver. You're gonna miss him. My daughter is 23, 24. I can never remember which one it is. I say 24. My wife says 23. Good morning, MK. Whatever happened to your friend with cancer? I list her channel name. But I was saying, Beaver. Started reading the other comments. But yeah, my daughter, she moved out for a couple of years, and then it was like my wife missed her dearly. I enjoyed the space, but I was like, now what am I gonna do with all this extra space? Lost her channel name. Oh, are you talking to me, MK? I'm not sure because I'm not understanding what you're the friend with cancer. Well, off topic. Do you believe Diana Downs is innocent? Hmm. Do I believe Diana Downs is innocent of what she did? Of what I mean, what she's been charged of and what she's been convicted of. And I don't think it's really off subject. And we're talking about anything and everything. Um, no, I think she's guilty. I From everything that I've read about Diana Downs, you know, uh, I would have to say that she's guilty. I don't necessarily agree with the sentencing of that Diana got, but I definitely believe that she was guilty of the crimes. Um, so, Francie, you think that my dislike for my daughter's boyfriend has negatively impacted my relationship with her? Maybe it might be, might have been, but it's hard for a parent to, at least for me, it was really hard to watch someone who it definitely deserves so much better to be treated in such a way that I just didn't think that she should have been. Good morning, Ellie. Yeah, I think she's guilty. It's just I don't necessarily agree with the sentencing that she got, and that's the part that there's a couple aspects of the actual trial I didn't agree with, and what the DA was able to and how they were able to portray her. But she definitely I think she did the actual crime. It's just if you took those two parts out of the actual case, I don't it's hard to look back on certain cases like that, and without having everything in front of you, the evidence that was there. Would the evidence of still overwhelmingly been, to give her the sentence that she got? I don't know. I would probably think that a jury of 12 people would have probably come up with the same decision if they would have taken those two parts of the case out. That I just think was kind of iffy about if they should have been able to bring into testimony. Well, it's so hard to see your child go through that, such disrespect and self entitlement. Yeah. Oh yeah. I think Laundrie is surviving outdoors, on the run. He's coddled up, hidden, and hidden. There is a rancher who lives next to the Carlton Reserve where Brian Laundrie supposedly vanished. And man, I wish they would have asked in the interview with he did one with CNN, and I want to say the other one was a New York Times reporter, or it was from another like somebody. It was somebody you think would be a newspaper, but I think they're more of like a television program, like Inside Edition, something like that. But it probably wasn't Inside Edition. But he was talking about the different paths. There are, I guess, in the Carlton reserves, there are paths, hiking trails that go throughout the actual reserve itself. And he was saying that, but the reporter who was actually interviewing him never followed up on the one question that I wanted to know the more on. He was talking about the different paths. Like there's one path that will take you farther into the reserve that goes for miles and miles and miles and miles. And then there are other ones that branch off of that. But he said if you walk into the park about 100 yards, there was another one that will take you, and you will pop up on next to a freeway near the downtown area. That if Brian was to go in there, he could have went in and taken that turn and went through that path, and then ended up in town, and then he could have hitched a ride just like he did to get back home, or to get around before. He's known to thumb it before. He could have taken that, popped up by the freeway, stuck his thumb out, put it out there so people can actually see what I'm doing. Because you can't see my hand this way. No, you can't. I can't. I can't. But could have thumbed it, and caught a ride and been, down in Miami in a day. Do I think he killed himself? I don't know. Good morning, Bumblebee. It's already remarkable how long he has kept himself from facing any music. Bryce strikes me as extremely resourceful. Would be surprised me if he evades capture. See, a lot of people point out that Brian is an avid hiker, and that he, especially along the Appalachian Trail and some other trails, hiking trails, he has never done any type of extreme hiking. The type of trails that Brian Laundrie has hiked on and camped upon, along, have been what they call, not easy, but they're, an intermediate, level of skill required to take these actual hikes. He didn't have, what you call survival gear. Did he have what's called a life straw to drink the water, from a stream or reservoir, that actually filters out the bad stuff as you actually drink the water itself? I don't know. I know in one of his trips that was on his social media. I don't know if that account is still active or not, but he camped along the Appalachian Trail, near a river, which is stupid. But if you're gonna camp somewhere along the Appalachian Trail, you may not want to pick next to a source of water, right on the top of the water or right next to it, where it attracts live, all the animals in the area. You normally want to camp just near the water, but not right like almost over the top of it in a hammock. But in that actual social media post, he actually said something about the fact of all this water, but not a drink, not a drop to drink or something like that, which makes me believe he did not have a life straw. At least that at that time. Could he have bought one? Sure, you can get them all. And somebody actually pointed this out to me this morning in a comment that you can get them off of Amazon, and you don't need to be a Navy SEAL to get one. But he doesn't have that skill set to or experience to live in off the grid for any length of time. And eventually, just like Kyle Rudolph, if anybody remembers him, he was out there, in the Appalachian Trail and other places hiking, staying, out of the eye of the public, for while he was wanted. But he was going in and out to people's homes and their locations and stealing things to survive. Well, eventually Brian Laundrie is going to need food because he didn't go out hiking with a rifle to bring down game. He don't have any survival skills to learn how to set snare traps to catch rabbits or something. So he's going to need food. He's going to need supplies eventually if he's out there hiking or if he's in the actual reserve. Mooching off of someone, yeah. Brian Laundrie is a loser, and I hope wherever he is barefoot. He is no Bear Gillis. That is absolutely true, Armchair. He is no Bear Gillis. From what I understand, Brian Laundrie has absolutely no, skills in survival hiking or survivalist skills at all. He may know some basics like, okay, pack granola, and extra batteries for your flashlight or something. But I doubt that he's got a whole lot of skills that are going to, keep him safe and off the grid for an extended period of time. Not a kid, he's a murderer. Ellie O'Brien. He's kicking it in a hotel somewhere. Probably. If his flip-flops break, he's going to cry. Does anyone know what Brian Laundrie did for a living? Well, besides the social media that him and Gabby did, I think that's pretty much all they did, if they did anything at all. Besides that. Good morning, Brooks. Forgot to say hello. I read your comment, but I forgot to say hello. But I'm still here. They ruled it a homicide, but never told us why they decided that. Did they? I read the coroner's report, and the coroner's report and their actual statement said the preliminary examination and outcome is that Gabby died of a homicide. It was the cause of death. But the key part there was preliminary because they had not completed an autopsy at that point. Have they completed the autopsy? Well, they had to have because they just buried her last weekend. So, so they had to have completed the autopsy, but have they released the autopsy? And I'm not saying, people keep on, twisting my words around. I'm not saying that, he didn't kill her. I'm just saying that I deal with factual evidence and documents of, in cases. I mean, it's easy to say, yeah, he killed her. And that's why, it's what happened to her. But preliminary result doesn't mean that's the actual outcome. It could have been suicide. Hell, it could have been murder. She could have been alive when he left her there, abandoned her with, and then somebody else stumbled upon her and killed her. And then he finds out once he gets home that she's missing, and then he finds out she's been murdered. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things that could have happened. I wasn't there. It's just like, people say that, that his parents are culpable, because he abused Gabby, because he assaulted her. Were they there in the van? I don't remember seeing that police report that said that the parents were in the van. Everybody out there who's ever had a child, we've raised our children. We give them all the best morals and ethics, and we teach them right from wrong. And then we eventually have to come to a point where we release them out into the world and we say, okay, you have to make and find your own way in this world. Does that mean that, if 10 years from now or 5 years from now, after they've gone out, to strike it on their own and they commit an horrific act, does that mean that it's the parents' fault because they did it? Or is it the actual fault of the person who actually committed the crime? We could all call them, the dirty laundries or whatever we want about the parents. I just don't see it, as necessarily their fault for what their son did. And again, there has been no statements from any law enforcement agency at all that said that the parents have not been cooperative in any aspect. They've never had to get a warrant to seize things or to search their homes, which they could have just, the day that they came to the house, they said, show us your warrant. If you got to have a warrant to come into my house and and look around. But they didn't. I'm not saying that, that he didn't do it. I think the likelihood highly is that, it boiled over, the relationship boiled over to a point where neither one of them was in control anymore of what was going on. The pressure and from the travels and everything else got to them both. It was a terrible idea. I think the relationship was probably rocky a long time before they ever went on that trip. But that I don't have any evidence to actually support that, though. But I think if I had to put odds on it, I'd say it's a better than 90%, chance that he actually really did kill Gabby and he left her there. Got home. Parents asked where Gabby was. He just said, "Oh, we had a fight. She's going to stay with some friends in town for a week." And that bought him enough time to gather up all the shit that he needed to get the hell out of there. And he did. It was a debit card, Carol John, not a credit card. But yes, wouldn't speak to her parents, took the vehicle, left. But yes, it was a debit card that belonged to her, or at least it's connected to an account. Again, we still don't know factually if there are one or two cards on that account. There could have been two debit cards associated to that actual account, and he could have had one, and she could have had one for that Capital One checking and savings. It's not a credit card. Capital One, I have the same exact account. Capital One 360 checking and savings. It's done completely online. You don't have a bank you have to go into. You don't have any of the stupid fees like you would with a normal bank. And your money in your checking and your savings earns interest. where most banks you might earn interest in your savings account balance, but you earn money on both of them. Oh yeah. No, see, that's an interesting point, Francie. All right, so um, by leaving the scene and leaving her there, fleeing, but coming back home, that's not an omission of guilt. But underneath Florida statute, the moment that she was reported missing, he didn't say anything about where she was and then left. That is considered an omission of guilt by leaving, going hiking and disappearing. That's an omission of guilt underneath Florida statute. Angel Sammy, good morning. Nope. Nope. You would feel different if it was your own child. Well, what would I feel different about, Angel Sammy? If it was my own daughter that was murdered, what part would I feel differently about? I love clarification on that, right? Sam said that he wanted them to keep her as long as they needed to. Ellie O'Brien, welcome. I'm sorry I missed you earlier, Ellie. I think he got really scared. If it's an accident, he should have turned himself in. Did Brian have a gun? I've been asked that several times. I have no information at all that proves that either one of them owned any firearms at all. I have not seen it come up in any news reports or any of the digging into the case that I've seen so far. They've never released the actual cause of death for her as far in or autopsy. So without that, we don't know. Was she strangled? Was she beaten to death? We don't know. We have no idea. But again, I have no idea if either one of them owned any guns at all. Gabby is holding a gun in an Instagram photo. I've seen that the Instagram photo, but I don't know if it was theirs. I mean, is it even real? There is there was some rumors that Brian Laundrie had a CCL for a Taurus 380, but I have no proof of that. Hmm. I've no need for guns. His rage was proven to be hands on. I think the case is interesting in a lot of different aspects, but I hate to even dive into the speculation of it all. Um, does anybody know anybody who owns a gun shop? I don't know if you can do it in every state, but those who have what's called an FFL, Federal Firearms License, if you can find somebody who has a federal firearms license, they can check to see if Brian had a concealed carry permit. At least in my state, if you have an FFL, you can check. But I'm pretty sure you can do that in other states as well. So that might be a way to find out if he really did have a concealed carry permit for a Taurus 380. Alicia, good afternoon. Welcome to the stream. Did you see the second body cam video, Connie Kelly, of the officer where Gabby is sitting in the back of the squad car, where she says that Brian hit her? but then she backtracks and said that she hit him first. Yes, I've seen that video. If your daughter's boyfriend gave home came home without her after a long road trip and said nothing about her and changed their phone number, would I feel differently? I'd have a lot of fucking problems, with that. But I don't think they would change my, my view of what would happen in this case. Leaving her in federal lands in a wilderness area is a crime, as there are plenty of apex predators around. Good morning, small fries. I did not see you come in this morning, and I hope that you are having a wonderful weekend. Hey, Will, I hope you're having a great weekend. I hope your knee pain has lessened. No, it has not, unfortunately. And good morning, Mary. I hope you are doing well. I hope you are doing well, sweetheart. But my knee is not getting any better, and it's not going to until I have surgery done. I'm trying to do the best I can with it. Okay, so that must be a third one then, Connie Kelly, where she broke down, didn't want to be separated from Brian. I probably have seen it, but I don't know if it. I mean, I know there's the initial police officers who separated the two and was interviewing Brian. That's one. There's a second officer who comes up and is talking to her while she's in the back of the squad car, who arrived later on. That's two. So that would be a third video. So that'd be three. I don't know if I've seen that one, but I might have. Right now, I'm not familiar with it. At least by the description that you're giving there. He might have taken a family gun. I'm in the UK, so we don't carry guns. He could have. I don't know if his father has firearms or not. I would believe he would, because I believe I read something online that his father used to be an avid hunter, but I don't know if Brian would have had access to it or if he had them. We'll get some good painkillers. Yeah, see, that's the problem, Francie, is I can't take opioid medication like hydrocodones or oxys or anything like that. They mess me up, like not like mentally. I mean, they do that too, but they don't do much for my pain. And they give me like really bad like acid reflux, and they're just not good. So I can't take them. When I do for like surgery, they'll do a pain blocker, and I take a acetaminophen otherwise. Heat, and well, the doctor told me to stop using heat, but just more ice, which I'm doing right now as I'm sitting here, and that acetaminophen, and then I take the acetaminophen with Diet Pepsi, the caffeine in Diet Pepsi. Caffeine is a booster. It helps the medication get into your system faster. I had knee surgery before. Make sure you got someone to hang with when your wife is working. She's not working right now. Small fries. Angel Sammy, why would they have a fake gun? I don't know. Why do a lot of Instagrammers, pose with fake amounts of currency, just like rappers? Yeah, I don't know why people do the stupid things that they do. Anymore after surgery is ibuprofen and Tylenol. Yeah, ice is. Well, I have these. They're like these gel pack things. It's called. So we get the delivery Hello Fresh, and you get 2 of these in every box, and they're you can cut them open, and and you can drain them, and break down your sink drain, and then you can dispose of the plastic bag. But I use them as ice packs because there's like a gel inside of them, just like the ones you'd buy at the store. People are weird. John Walsh slipped up and said he was beat. She was beaten to death. She was beaten to death. Oh, so you think John Walsh knows? I mean, if anybody's going to know, it'd probably be John Walsh. I wonder, do they have an Adams law? For his son. Makes me wonder. I'm going to have to look into that. I'm going to write that down. And by the way, everyone, I did see that that Gabby's father has set up a memorial, and there was talk online that they're looking into also setting up a like nonprofit, where people can donate, and it's a tax write off for in her memorial for her. Sorry, I'm writing that down. I want to look up and see if there's an Adams law. Code Adam? Is that what it's called? I was at a fairly large like it's kind of like a Sam's Club not too long ago, and there was a lady who was running around frantically looking for her child, and nobody could find him. And they didn't do anything about stopping people from leaving the store. I saw people walking out, with their children, well, with children in carts and stuff like that. And I'm like, why aren't they stopping these people who are leaving with the children? Because this lady's running around frantically screaming for her child, looking for her child. She couldn't find him. The boy turned out that he was in the electronics department, but he got away from his mom, and she's running around screaming that somebody help me find my baby, and they didn't stop anybody from leaving the store with the child. And I'm like, well, why do they do that? They should close the store off and say, okay, nobody leaves until we identify who the children who are leaving with these people. Yeah, I could never imagine what that must be like for what John Walsh and his wife went through. I mean, it shoots pure panic, and throughout me when I can't find my son. And trust me, when I tell you my son has gotten away from me before and has run, got out, he was in the backyard playing, and like just like that snap of a finger, one time he took off down the street, and I didn't see where he went. I checked everywhere in the backyard he could have possibly have hidden. What wasn't in the backyard. And then I found the side gate open, and he had gotten out and he had taken off down the street, running down the street, in his pull up. And that was all he was wearing: no shoes, no shirt, no pants, nothing at all, just running. And my son is autistic, and he has, well, probably now he has about 15 words total he says, but he's speech delayed. So if I would have screamed out for him, he never would have responded. And I went into complete panic. That was the first time he did that. The second time he did it, in the back corner of our property here, we have a giant wood pile for where we have logs and stuff that are cut up for our fire pit. that we use in the summertime. And he had climbed up the fire pit, the logs on on the pile, and then gotten over the chain link fence into the next door neighbor's backyard, because the neighbor kids have a bunch of Nerf guns, and he saw the Nerf guns through the chain link fence, so he wanted to go see them. But I ran up and down this street as much as I could, and well, right now, if he was to do it, I couldn't catch him. There's no way I'd catch him. Code Adam, yes. I thought it was a standard across the US. Nothing fake here. Same here. We do code Adam in our stores. That's that. They didn't do that there though. The store is called Home Express. I don't know if they have Home Expresses where you live. It's kind of like a furniture store, Costco, Shopco, and drugstore all mixed together in a really big freaking place. It's huge. It's about the size of a Sam's Club. At least the three that we have here, they're huge. Is there any obligation to share the final autopsy results with the public? No, no, Francine, not really. It's not considered a public information, and if unless they want to share it. But right now they probably wouldn't release it because it would jeopardize the any kind of case that they might bring against Brian later on. What they have learned from the autopsy, along with any findings that where they found Gabby at, and the location, evidence they collected there. I grew up, still live right next to where Adam Walsh was kidnapped. I was his age too. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Robin. That's got to be scary as hell, though. Sis, they ever find the person that took Adam? I forget. I was young. Well, they believe they know who killed Adam. Was anybody ever convicted of it? No. Welcome, Starfire. My nephew went missing. And Debenhams department store? Never heard of it. It must be something over there in the UK, huh? The store was closed immediately. The little bugger was found under the lingerie rail. What if Brian Laundrie is never found? I don't know. I guess the case just goes on forever then. Jeffrey Dahmer lived here at the time too. Did you all know that? Did he? Did Are you near Milwaukee? I thought you were in Chicago. Like, I mean, Dahmer lived in both places, but yeah, I lived next to Dahmer for a short period of time. At least one apartment that he had at one point. But back to I was going to say about Adam. They believe that Otis Toole killed him, but he was never convicted of it. They think it was Dahmer who took Adam. No, I thought Adam. It was Otis Toole. I thought was the one at Fort Lauderdale. Oh, well, I'm sorry. Dahmer was a suspect, no Fort Lauderdale. Just just logging in. Was watching good Mr. GML. You is it good GML? Lost me on that one. YouTuber yelling at in front of Brian. Oh yeah. He, he lived in Milwaukee. Colleen 41. I know he lived for a short period of time in Chicago area, or frequented the area at least a lot enough to hang out in certain bars that the same bar that John Wayne Gacy hung out in. But Molly go lightly. Oh, but I started reading again and confessed and then recanted later. Yeah, I thought it was, but I thought it was Otis Tooled Up. What was I saying? Um, but yeah, Dahmer though, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He did, but he lived down here and delivered pizza. At the time, Adam Walsh was kidnapped and murdered. Wow. Well, what you gonna eat today? Probably not a whole lot today, Francie. Uh, probably eat something later on. I got a lot of work I have to get done today. I haven't watched Molly Go Lightly in quite a while. Last time I stopped in Molly Go Lightly's, I gave her a super chat, and she's like, "I thought you didn't like me." I was like, "I never said that. I don't know where people get these ideas from." I'm like, "I'm sorry. Sorry you thought that. I watch your content. I never said anything bad about you. I don't know where people get these rumors from, and then nor do I understand why people believe them either." But that was the last time I stopped in and watched her content, or maybe I caught a couple of videos or streams or something like that later on. But it's been a while. She's crazy down here at the Laundrie's place yesterday. Have you seen the interview with Dahmer's dad? It is really good. No, Colleen, I have not seen any interviews with either Dahmer's father or any of his extended family members. She was yelling at the laundries and crazily ranting. I watch a lot of content, Connie, Caddy. People that I may not agree with. I don't like what they're doing, but I still watch their content and check out their channels just to see what they're doing, see how they're actually presenting the information. Are they fabricating, or twisting what is known about a case? But you can, it's like the old adage, keep your friends close, but keep your enemies even closer. I I watch a lot of people, especially people who have had nothing but negative things to say about me from day one that I started on YouTube. I still watch their content. I'm not supporting their content in any way. I'm not going to give them money, financially support them. Yeah, I know that they can earn their fourth tenths of a cent from my stopping by and checking out their content, because that's what we get paid. 4/10 of a cent for every person who watches my video. I get 1,000 of you. That's $4. $4 for 1,000 views. Dahmer's dad wrote a book. It's extremely well written. He says his wife was on 17 different meds during her pregnancy, including phenobarbital. Wow. Yeah, but they used to give uppers away like candy to, emotional women. My friend actually has a poster in his office that it was for Quaaludes or something like that. And it was like it was a poster that used to be in a doctor's office that he got it, but he's an attorney, but it's actually a real advertising poster for I want to say it's from Bayer Pharmaceutical Company, but it might be another pharmaceutical company. It was about how are you, it was like a doctor talking to a woman, but you're reading it, from that perspective about, are you feeling a little too emotional lately? What you need is, and then this, the drug. Not ignoring my proposal, where I asked if you'd like to go out with me as a student out, get out, knee done, 2-for-1 deal. That wasn't ignoring you. I'm sorry, Zelda. 2-for-1 deal. Remember the Roost Chicks? They've been harassed for 3 years. That's absolutely true. I am so happy that I got rid of every damn thing on the Watts case. It's all gone. Cleaned out my entire file cabinet of every document, note, everything about the case. It's all gone. I don't want to ever have to report on, or do another video on that asshole until he dies. And then I might make just a short 1-minute video saying, guess what? Ding dong, the dickhead's gone. I feel so bad for them. And the harassment is even after close to 3 years, it's still not, they're still doing it. And we know who he is. Well, look at every other commercial during daytime. It was either a criminal attorney or meds. Oh yeah. T-shirt is itchy, scratchy. Powder to drive you crazy. Zelda. It's a side effect from taking too much naproxen sodium. So my doctor told me to stop taking it. I broke out in hives all over my arms and my hands and on my chest. Yeah, I'm sorry for scratching it, but it itches. It's all my especially my arms. But my doctor said that I was close to, or I was getting to the point of naproxen sodium poisoning. I had taken so much of it, for pain, and he told me, he was like, "No, stop taking it. You're supposed to be taking acetaminophen to to help reduce the swelling." I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, I'll switch to that." But he's like, "Oh, well, you don't take too much of that because that's bad for your liver." I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. But I mean, I'm in pain. I got to take something. Baker Act, Robin Lane. Had to Google that. I was just going to tell you, it's most likely hives. Yeah. Yep. Nothing I can do about it. I put, I've got stuff over here that I put on it, this cream, but didn't help. Oh yeah. Yeah, Robin, it can definitely happen. Yeah, yeah, it's just like everything else in this world. Too much of a good thing. I was trying to, trying to do whatever I could to manage the pain, in my knee, and it turns out I was slowly poisoning myself, by taking too much. My husband fully vaxxed, got COVID. He's still having issues. It's been 3 weeks. Can't believe I didn't get COVID and you're unvaxxed. Get some EOs for the pain wheel. Worked like a charm with my frozen shoulder. I don't know, Ellie. I don't know what EOs are. What are EOs? I'm sorry. Yeah, Colleen. I took Benadryl this morning. This only happened a couple. It started. Let's see. Today is Saturday, so Tuesday. Tuesday when it first started breaking out on my lower arms and the back of my arms. That's when my wife first noticed it, and I didn't notice it at first because it started popping up and you didn't see it. And then, then Thursday it got a little bit worse. Friday, I called my doctor and we did one of those telemedicine things where it's like a Zoom meeting with the doctor. Soda cream is good for hives. Take active charcoal powder to get rid of the poison. You're itching because of your liver. Look at your skin. Yeah, I'm aware of that now. Deborah Kaiser, good morning. How are you doing, Deborah? Hope you had a terrific week, Deborah. Thank you for stopping in this morning. And Rosemary EO. Well, thank you, Mary. I appreciate it. Get some Ultron pain cream. Extra strength helps with your broken bones. I'll look into that. I don't know if we have that here. I've never heard of that. Well, Ron. Thank you very much, Mary. I really appreciate the super chat. Thank you again. Thumbs up, everyone. Will, what is wrong with your skin? Looks fine to me. Colleen, well, I'm not going to take off my shirt, but I broke out in hives all of my chest and my arms from taking too much naproxen sodium. Yes, I have taken Benadryl for it, and my wife got me this cream stuff at the store. And I put on it, but it only lasts for a little bit. It gives a little bit of temporary relief, but not too much. I have that Voltaren. It didn't work for me one bit. It is prescription only. Okay, well, I will definitely look into active charcoal. Now, I have Brooks. I have been told about the active charcoal. My mother-in-law told me about that the other night that I should look into because they actually they have the active charcoal. You can take it. It's a little capsule. You can get them at the health food store. So sounds like a kid's cartoon from the '80s. Voltron. Good to know, Will. Sorry that happened to you. Yeah, well, my doctor is sorry about it too. I didn't know. My wife's just sitting there shaking her head the whole time. She's like, I had no idea you've been taking that much of it. Well, life is a learning experience, ladies and gentlemen. That's what Connie. That's what this cream is. It's got lidocaine in it. It's a lidocaine cream, but it only helps for a little bit, and then it becomes itchy again. It doesn't hurt to actually touch it. It just itches. Well, have you ever tried CBD for pain and inflammation? My partner swears by it. No, I have not, Francie, but I'm a firm believer in the CBD oils and treatment itself. I have a niece who I'll give you guys. I talked about this before, but she just went back to Minnesota to the Mayo Clinic back there, and they put her through a whole nother series of battery of tests, and all those experts at the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota, they still don't know what's wrong with her. They have ruled it down to one of four things that they believe that may be causing her extreme vertigo and some of the other medical conditions that she's having from from vertigo. But the only thing that has given her any sense of of life and ability to live is CBD oil. She was in high school when she first got if this first came on, and without it, she can't work, she can't drive, she can't do anything. She takes the CBD oil and she looks just like everybody else out here, but she has extreme migraine still. But they gave her now she has a migraine medication taking care of the migraines. But she's able to live, but she just has to live on these two things. But they can't figure out what the hell's causing it. So armchair detective MI5. I'm allergic to antihistamines. I swell up like the Michelin man. I was unrecognizable and was itchy for weeks. Oh, I'm sorry about that. It is, Ellie. But my niece, she takes the CBD because it's not just vertigo that she has. It's a deep pain in like the back, like spinal area, where in the back of the skull. But they don't know what's actually causing that pain. If she explains it as the pain is coming from like here in the back of the head. She has no head injuries. Nothing like that has ever happened to her, and they believe that it may be a neurological issue in there where the actual spinal cord comes in and connects, that there are maybe there's something that's too close to each other and there's misfiring between the two of them. That's what's causing the vertigo and the severe migraines, but they don't know. I mean, she's been to so many hospitals. I feel so sorry for her, but she takes the CBD oil, and the new migraine medication. She's able to live a totally normal life. She was able to go back to high school and finish up high school and go to college and work full time now. I mean, it's like light and day compared to where she was, pretty much bedridden, and all because of CBD oil. And trust me when I tell you, they have given her every medication out there that's known to man that she could get her hands on, and no expense paid. Her parents have they've got money. They have definitely paid for her to get the best medical treatment. And like just now, they flew back and forth between the Mayo Clinic, and then the doctors there were like, "No, we don't know. It's either one of these four things, but we're not sure which one it is." Good morning, S. Singleton. I love the RA, and it took too much ibuprofen. Now my kidneys aren't functioning properly. You have to be very careful with any med. Try some nature's best weed. LOL. And I don't know about that, S. Singleton. I'm not one for marijuana. Will, has she gotten an MRI? Oh, Brooks, she has. MRIs, CAT scans, you name it. I mean, I'm not joking. It started when she was 13, 14, right in there. And she's now, well, we're talking 10 years of constant doctors and medical, and people are like, I can do this. Well, this doctor over here, he may be able to know. If it didn't matter where they were in the world, they've flown to every place and to anywhere that where somebody said that they knew what was going on, or another doctor said, well, this doctor is doing this case study. They've flown to see that doctor or tried that medication for her, and nothing has worked. Nothing except for CBD oil and her new Maxalt MLT for migraines. That's it. The Avon lady sells CBD. I heard. I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. But that's cool as hell. The Avon lady sells CBD. Is it made by Avon? I keep waiting for CBD oil to be approved, regulated by the FDA. It is, well, it is here, sort of. It's been the not the FDA, but it's been cleared by the our state's top medical advisor for medical reasons and for medicinal usage. But I live in a state that has our marijuana laws are recreational and recreational and medical. Maxalt is the best. Have you taken it, Robin? She says it works. It's phenomenal. It's like a tablet she puts on her tongue and it dissolves almost instantly. And she said it usually takes about a minute before it starts to really start to take effect because it gets into the blood system that quick. So anti-inflammatory diet, no RA symptoms anymore. Yeah, is RA, that's rheumatoid arthritis, Ellie, anymore. All other pain has gone to lifelong migraines, fibrom. Oh, you have fibromyalgia on top of it. Oh, Jesus. Any slight aches or pains, EO knocks it out. Only an occasional ibuprofen. Well, I'm glad you found some relief, but you have rheumatoid arthritis and fibromyalgia. Jesus, I'm so sorry about that. We use it to prevent my son's seizures. CBD oil. Yep. CBD oil has been found to be extremely beneficial, especially with certain types of those who were suffering from epilepsy. All your pain is gone. And just think, how many years did the government hold back and not tell people about the medical uses for marijuana? For how many years did we keep that under wraps because we wanted Big Farm to be able to actually profit billions and trillions of dollars off of everyone else's health out there? Francie, I don't. Why don't I take Maxalt or CBD? Well, first off, Francie, I was talking about my niece. She suffers from a extreme vertigo and pain, migraines, particularly, and she takes the Maxalt and she takes the CBD. The nearest dispensary to me is about 12 miles. 'Cause our house is kind of on the outskirts, one far end of town. It's about 6 miles to downtown from where I live, well, into our city. But the nearest dispensary is about 12 miles. But you can go to any 7-Eleven here and buy, the smokable, like Juul, the things that you put in those smoker things. I don't know if you can buy oils for the Juul. That's the only brand name of e thing I can think of. They can. Zelda, I've seen quite a few like the Dateline where they went through and they they busted a lot of those uh, bodegas in New York that were selling illegal counterfeit juices and stuff like that for e-cigarettes and bogus CBD oils. And they tested them, and some of them had extraordinary amounts of like bacteria and other things that are extremely harmful to people that were in them. But yeah, definitely buy them from a reputable place. Here, like the dispensaries and stuff like that, and the ones that they sell in the store, they're from they have to be state certified on top of it all to sell them. But you can go anywhere and get marijuana now. Attended a chip program at Loma Linda. Well, let's hope, Zelda, that Larry is here for a lot more decades, and you as well. You both. Let's hope that you both are around for a lot longer. You have to, because how the hell am I going to get down there to good old boring Oregon to see you guys? It might be decades before I get there. I joke, Zelda. It ain't going to be that long, but I'll get there. I got to get down to Portland to see my friends. And I got a lot of friends in the Portland and the Vancouver area. I know. I can't believe it, Zelda. Mr. YouTube Vlog, you're handsome. Well, thank you, Mr. YouTube Vlog. Unique name. I like the logo, whatever that is. MVY. Well, cool looking design, whatever it is. You take a long soak in the bath? I can't remember the last time I've taken a bath. Well, I got one when we bought the house. I had the tub replaced. You must get here by Thanksgiving, as I have some very special that I can't be shipped. I want you to raffle it for your autism endeavors. I will, Zelda. I don't know if I can get there. Thanksgiving. That's next month. But I never know. Hopefully, everything starts to calm down. I want to go. I want to go visit my friends, and I want to see you. Stop and visit you and Larry. On the way. It's just if I drive all the way to Portland to see my friends, I want to go do something with them, but they're all kind of like freaked out still about COVID, and the spiking numbers that are out there. And there's certain things that they want to do that you can't really go out and enjoy yourself as much as they want to. So who knows? We all deal with what's going on in this world differently. Maybe they're being a little over the top, overprotective of themselves and everyone around them. It's probably a good starting point for them, how to describe how they feel about the COVID. But wait for them to kind of calm down and come down a little bit. Everything to do with tacos? I'm sure I will. I would love anything that you do, Zelda. Anything that you make. You're such a sweetheart. I'm just sorry that not everybody watches your content and enjoys it as much as I do. They should. Y'all go subscribe to Zelda right now on YouTube. I would kill for a bath, just a small shower. That's all you have is a small shower. I just put a new shower head in well, before I messed up my leg, is put a new shower head in my wife's I's our the master bathroom. One of those big, huge rain shower heads. Oh, you miss Seinfeld? I'm over 880 subs, but it goes up and down daily. Yeah. That's life on the old interweb there in YouTube land, Zelda. I don't I can get it really quick. Hey, look, it says I'm live, but I got no one sent me any notifications that I was going live today. I I subscribe to this channel. Inner Peas, you're so much faster than me. I was just about to paste it. Here, I'm going to do it anyways. Thank you, Inner Peas. I appreciate you posting the link. I was getting there. I stopped to talk. But Will, what are your thoughts on Dog the Bounty Hunter's involvement in the Gabby case? As Singleton, I think he has no business being involved in it. I think it's all for publicity. I think and I have actually looked into this before. The ratings for his content and his previous episodes was down. Um, and now that he is involved in this, he's trending on in his name, his actual name and Dog the Bounty Hunter. Both of those are trending on Twitter and on most social media platforms. His Instagram and his actual shows are the views are way up. So is he going to find Brian Laundrie? I don't know. He doesn't have any experience with actually hunting people in the forest, but he's really good at finding people on islands. But if it's for publicity, if you saw the video where he came up to the Laundrie's home, he knocks on the door a couple times, and you think this is by accident. Watch when he walks away from the door and he walks past behind the camper in the driveway, and then stops at the end of the driveway. What does he do? Does he look towards the backyard? Does he look towards the neighbor's yard? Does he look out towards the street or at the camper itself that he just walked past? No, he stops. He lifts his chin. So all these people over here are getting a damn good view of him right there. So he sets himself up perfectly, cinematically. So they're taking his picture. And it's like, look, it's Dog the Bounty Hunter. And when he knocks on the door, he knocks like this. So he is facing the cameras. He's doing it all for publicity. At least that part of it is. There's no doubt about that. Did he really expect the mother to know who he was and to be knocking on her door? Even if she knew who he was, did she expect him to have flown from Hawaii all the way there to knock on her door? If I was her and I saw that guy standing outside my door, I wouldn't answer it either. And she was home alone because dad wasn't there at the time. So that's my answer. I'm Zelda's 887 subscriber. Well, good. Thank you for subscribing. See my silly YouTube video, how old people do water slides. It was a little weird, wasn't it? No, Zelda, I have not seen that one. Old people use water slides. Yesterday, I welcome, Laura Bell. But I hope you had a great week. And thank you for joining us today. But no, the last night I played one of your videos for my son. I was looking for piano music, and I played the one where you were playing? Is it Amazing Grace? I can't remember what you were playing on your piano, but I played that one for him because he's been really getting into like the tempo and beat of like certain songs. That he likes to follow. It doesn't really matter what kind of song it is. It could be anything, but it's the tempo that he really likes and he's looking for. So I was playing different piano on songs and videos for him, and I knew you had that one. A lot of people love and trust Dog. They do. I can understand why. I've watched some of his content when it originally first came out. It just got a little bit over the top, shock and awe, for me. But then again, I don't watch a lot of TV anymore. We all have our stuff, but thanks. Well, thank you everyone for who has stopped into her channel and subscribed. Now that you bring your son here, I will put on a player. Keys move. It hooks up to the internet and play anything like Star Wars. No, he might be gifted. We're actually we're looking into right now Zelda. We're trying to get him into a program of dance because he loves to watch certain or listen to certain music, and he wants to dance along to the tempo of the music. But he makes up his own little dances to them. So they have a specialized program for children with autism that used to run here, but because of COVID, they didn't run it last year. But it's through the local children's players theater. But we're trying to get him into that. We put a couple calls into him so far, but we're hoping to hear back from them soon. Well, thank you, Armchair. I'm just like everybody else in the world. I don't have time to try to be something that I'm not. I'm just I'm me. And I want to listen and I treat people as how I wish to be treated. Oh, I forgot to tell everybody. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the 200th episode. Yes, this Saturday morning live stream that you are on right now is the 200th episode of the Saturday Morning Live that I have done. Yes, I've changed the name a couple times here and there throughout the 200, but this is the 200th episode. And Francie, I will never stop doing this. This to me is kind of like my therapy and everything else. I get to sit and talk with people, and other people are like, "There's nothing you're talking about. You have no subject." Yeah. Well, I gave you a subject matter in the beginning of it. I gave you the news, on cases, updates, but the rest of it is just we're talking about anything and everything. I think it's important that we pay respect for each other and we share each other's lives because we're all in this together, right? You're watching my content, you're taking part in this. We're all in this. This is all of ours. Stacy Mark Margaret 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 Margaret. I was just watching protesters. I wish they would pull on the parental heartstrings. Don't you want to see your son again? Gabby is watching from heaven. Your grandchildren are going to see this one day. It's a good point, Stacy. And welcome to the stream. I hope you had a wonderful week. Will, do you want a player piano free? It's nice. It comes with 30 rolls of QRC's music rolls. Just you all haul it. It's a great shape, not old oak player with fashion piano. I thank you for the offer, Zelda, but I'm going to have to pass on that. My mother-in-law just bought my son a keyboard, so we haven't. He's played with it a couple of times. He's got that, and we also got him one of those big long things that it's like in the movie. Was it in Big with Tom Hanks? The keyboards that let you lay them on the floor and you can and play step on the different keys. We got him that, and so he's got that, and we also got him the keyboard. But he's not interested in actually playing the keys right now. He's just playing with the preset tempos. So, but he's only had it for a week, though. Because of my pain and disability, I'm incredibly lonely. My husband is very quiet. He's very smart, genius, but he doesn't talk to me. So I'm alone. So YouTube gets me outside. 200. Oh, thank you, Ellie. I appreciate it. Big was funny. Yeah. Who cares what other people think? Everyone has haters. 5% average, not your people. most of the people who are hateful out there, they just want to be heard. Most they want to know that you're going to react to or you've seen their comment, and and then people will say the most despicable things to other people on the internet, especially on YouTube in the comment section, because there's no they don't think that there's ever going to be any repercussions to anything that they say. I've been threatened. I've had people try to send or say they were going to send a violent sexual predator to take care of my 5-year-old, to treat him like the little boy that he is. I've been doxxed. I've had my wife harassed at work. They tried to get my wife's license revoked. That's just part of it. We had to move my son from one school to another because someone on the internet found out what school he went to. We moved my daughter out of our home into another place because for her own safety. We had teenagers and young adults from Instagram and from some other social media platform that I can't remember which one it was, show up my home because they were promised if they showed up and gave us the day, the key word of the day, that I would hand them a free tablet, an iMac book or something like that. They turned off our power. They had our cable disconnected. They ordered around 30 different magazines and newspaper subscriptions in my name to my home and tried to destroy my credit and my money, my finances. And you know what I did? I made one video. One video. That's all I did. Yeah, I'm sorry too, Robin. But the worst of it all, though, the number one culprit, though, he ended up going to jail because in his state where he was at, he committed actual fraud, interstate commerce fraud, where he crossed the line. I'm not going to give it away where his actual location is, but there are certain laws out there that can be prosecuted, for what some of these assholes did. Well, thank you for the super chat, Zelda. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. It just popped up on my screen. I was like, what was that? And it went flying by. Don't get it. Who would stalk you like that, and why? Francine? Because I made a video. One. I've made 698 videos total, and that's just videos. I've made 486 live streams. Yeah. One video. One video was too much. And the content of that one video pushed these people over the edge. Oh, it must have been a humdinger, Stephanie. Oh, it was a humdinger, all right. I called out another YouTube creator for lying to his subscribers and supporters for profit. That's what I did. He said that he had firsthand knowledge, and that there were certain people who were coming to his live stream on purpose, who were joining him in that stream, and that they were there because they were people of authority in this case, in particular case that I'm talking about. And I made a video and I said, didn't fucking happen. These people were never in the stream. They were never invited, nor would they ever take part in an actual stream in an open investigation. And his little minions took that as, let's go get him. Let's freaking destroy his life. It didn't work, did it? They wanted me to leave. They wanted me to just go away. But I didn't do it. I refused. Because, see, what they don't understand is I have a greater mission here. And my greater mission is to make sure that the truth is out there on all the cases that I report on. I might be boring. I may have a terrible way of doing it. May not be the best audio quality or video quality. But you know what? At the end of the day, I live with what I make. And I'm trying to get better. I do my best. Oh, I'm sure you can guess who it is there, Armchair. Yep. Yep. Let's just say that our good friend Martin recently uploaded that video again on his channel. But oh well, it didn't work. But then they tried to do something like that again. Now we just have more and more. You never know just what you're going to do if until a situation like that comes up, and how well you can fight back. I mean, I've been harassed before online. I mean, hell, I remember when I was on MySpace. Does anybody remember MySpace? But I remember when I was on MySpace, and people would bully or harass other people on MySpace. There wasn't much you could do about it. You get a warning, but that person would close their account and reopen another one, the next day. And the same thing here on YouTube. You block someone, and 10 minutes later, they're right back underneath a different name. All you need is, And it's not like Google doesn't know that it happens. I mean, if you go onto Google, if you're bored later on, just open up a Google browser and type in paid for harassment campaign. Paid for harassment campaign. For $500, you can find somebody on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, wherever, whatever social media site you want, and you can buy a campaign of hatred towards them, where bot programs will spam everything that they do. You will drive away their viewership. They did it to me. I lost 62,000 subscribers like that. They went after everybody. They went after everybody on Patreon and everything. Because these bot programs, they seek out the information. They find someone who's following or watching, and that links to another one. Then they find the email, and they spam them, and then they find another link to another social media. And because people don't realize how much like YouTube, for instance, you may not think that you're doing anything on you're just watching videos online. You are the product. You're the product on YouTube. Everything that you ever do on YouTube or online, you are the product. They're collecting data about you, and they know exactly where you are and where you've been. They may not have tracking software on you, or a microchip where, people are always worried about, you can't track me. You're not going to do that. But yeah, they know everything about you. And the right bot program can do the same thing, can follow your footprints through the internet. That's why everybody in my house uses NordVPN, not sponsored content there, or an ad, but we use a NordVPN that scrambles our, where we're at and where we're broadcasting from or anything. What about your opinion? Did they hate so much? The truth, Francie. The truth. That's what they hated. See, these people are so entrenched in believing the bullshit that this person has been feeding them for so long. They did not want anybody to ever say that this person is feeding you a load of shit and is doing it day in and day out. And it still has, and is still doing everything else, that he can to do the most disgusting things he can. They don't want to believe that, the truth, that there's anybody out there that may actually have the truth about, and he's been lying. Why do people hate the truth, fear the truth? I'm searching daily for nothing but the truth. The hate in this world is from deceit, and it's killing me. Stephanie Fisher, you're absolutely right. So in that, some of that actually comes back to psychology in itself and humans in itself. From the dawn of human existence. I'm not a psychologist, but this is how my wife explained it to me. From the dawn of human existence, and the dawn of caveman and fire. All right, one person put their hand into the fire and it burned them. They then taught somebody else, no, don't put hand in fire, it burn you. So without the third person knowing, or the second person actually sticking their hand in the fire or watching them stick their hand in the fire, the third person has now been passed on that information. Don't stick your hand in fire, because the second person told the third person. The third person told the fourth person. You build up what can, it is confirmational bias. The first person said, don't stick your hand in the fire. They pass that on, and everybody else then says, okay, don't stick hand in fire. So everybody believes the first person who says it. That person would lie to me about sticking my hand in the fire. because it'll burn me. So everybody believes what they say, and you can find that all throughout, life today. Somebody tells you that ivermectin, the horse dewormer, will help you, never get COVID. If you heard that and you were looking for something, you already had your mind open to looking for an alternative to getting the COVID shot, and somebody said ivermectin will stop you from getting COVID. You will never have to get the COVID shots. Get ivermectin. If they told you that and they said, I'm taking ivermectin, you would be more likely to take ivermectin because this person is taking it and they're telling you maybe they're coming from a believable source of authority. I'm giving that as an example. I don't know if ivermectin works or not. I think it's a little crazy that people would take it, but there are actual medical uses for ivermectin. But I'm just using that as an example. So don't get all huffy and puffy in the comment section about it because I don't know. I'm just that's an example. Fear of fire requires merely firsthand experience, not someone telling you. Yeah, that's true, Francie. But you might at the same time though. If you don't experience it firsthand, maybe you know that fire is there. Fire is good for cooking, but how do you know that it's not healthy to eat cooked pork products? Do you eat pork products, or chicken products or poultry that is undercooked? Well, why don't you do it? You that's firsthand knowledge. Well, you can go ahead and eat that raw chicken if you want, or eat that raw pork because people eat raw fish. Why is that good for you, but this isn't? This is an example that maybe the fire example is not the best, but is a horse warmer. Yikes. I gotta run, y'all. Desk work, yard work, and my rescue kids tugging at me. Send love to y'all. Bye, Allie. Well, I'm going to wrap this up here as well, everyone. Ivermectin will not medicine. It's used from 70% effective in 3,000 random studies worldwide. Brooke, I was just giving it as an example. Replace ivermectin with something else. How about elephant tranquilizers? If somebody said that instead of ivermectin, horse tranquilizers are great for blocking the coronavirus. If that was it instead, would people take and they had access to a horse tranquilizer, people would be taking horse tranquilizer. I think that actually people really do that. I'm not entirely sure though. Well, everyone, thank you again. I really appreciate it all. If you have the opportunity, tomorrow night at 7 p.m., we will be doing true crime trivia. It's 30 multiple choice questions. That is 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, PDT. And there are 30 true crime trivia questions tomorrow night, multiple choice displayed on the screen with the 4 possible answers to each question. And no, to everybody, it is not music. They are real true crime questions tomorrow night. Because we did two Sundays back to back that were music related. But we're looking into actually making one of the nights a actual music trivia only. But that's going to be way off in November. But everybody, thank you again. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and thank you everybody for stopping in. Don't forget to give it thumbs up. If you didn't do it this time, maybe next time. In the meantime, I hope everybody out there stays safe and have a wonderful weekend.